So welcome to Yin Yoga. This is my first Jade Rose yoga class, and today I've got my mum, and mum's name is Niece, and she's going to be doing some Yin Yoga with me. So I feel like you could just follow along at home. The things that you'll need for this practice, and they're not absolutely necessary, you can do it without the props, but to do the practice and feel quite supported, I would suggest having some pillows and some rolled up towels, or even some blankets that you can roll up and prop underneath you, because the whole process of Yin Yoga is to be very supported as you're doing the practice, because it's not so much about getting the muscles in this practice, it's about accessing the fascia, the connective tissue, and the deeper layers underneath the muscles. So we want to relax our muscles as much as possible in this practice, which requires supports. So other things that we've got today are yoga blocks. If you don't have yoga blocks and you have something like a heavy book or something, you could use that instead. But again, remember that you don't have to have these props, they're just there to support you. If you have your own yoga props at home, you're welcome to use those. So today's practice is going to be a practice for anger, frustration, anxiety, or long-held resentment. So if you're feeling frustrated, if you're feeling stressed out, if you're feeling anxious or angry or any of those above emotions, this practice is for you. The reason why I've chosen those specific emotions is because they're the emotions which are linked to the meridian line that we'll be working with today, which is the meridian line of the liver, which is associated very heavily with the emotions of anger when unbalanced, but also the gallbladder meridian line. So these ones are around our legs in the inner thigh, and also running along the outer thigh up the side body, and it moves all the way up into your shoulders. So when we're feeling quite stressed out, we can actually get really tight around our shoulders, our neck, our jaw, and our temples. And even though we won't be specifically opening up this upper body region of the body today, we'll be working with the meridian line associated with, it actually runs up into the temples. So I'll be getting you to consciously focus on relaxing your upper body as much as you can as we move into it, and just a general letting go sensation of releasing anything that comes up, any anger, any frustration. And remember, if you do feel angry before, during, or after the practice, it's completely normal. It's just healing that's occurring in your body. So we'll get started. We're going to begin in a seated position. So if you're using props today, you can prop yourself up like mum is, with your bolster or your pillows cushioning you from beneath. Just find any sort of position that feels comfortable. If you like, you can sit like me on the knees, or you could find comfortable Sukhasana, which is your cross-legged position. If you've got blocks, you could actually sit up on the height of your block. So as we come into it, we're just going to draw our shoulders back and down, closing down our eyes, and just beginning by taking a full belly breath. So breathing expansively into your belly, all the way up into your lungs, your chest, your heart space. Watching for the expansiveness of your breath, and as you exhale, emptying the lungs completely. Inhale, filling all the way up. And exhale, emptying. Just taking about 5 more deep breaths just like that. As you breathe in, watch for that full belly expansion. Watch as the breath moves its way up the body. Slow it down a little. And as you exhale, there's that emptying, grounding feeling. You're also starting to notice the accompanying sensations in your body that occur with that breath. Just allowing yourself to really land in this moment, this next few minutes or hour dedicated to our practice, and losing any judgments, expectations on yourself about what you can do or what is about to occur, and just allowing yourself to remain very present and enjoy the process. And the best thing about Yin Yoga is we can always use the props and adapt the postures to support different body types. So I'll try to give you those different ways of coming in for different bodies as well. So from here, we're just going to bring our hands to our heart space and welcome in an intention today. So keeping the eyes closed down, just take another deep breath in from your belly up into your lungs. Welcoming in the intention of letting go of resentment, frustration, bitterness or anger or whatever it is that's being built up within that's causing you stress mentally, physically or energetically, and allowing yourself to heal and let that go through our practice today. So letting go of anger, letting go of frustration and bitterness. And the next deep breath in, gazing up towards the sky, sending that intention high, and exhale as the arms go wide. So from here we're going to move into our first posture of the day, which is child's pose position. So I'm going to get you, Mum, to use the bolster, and as you come in, you're just going to set yourself up in all four position. So you can have the bolster sort of just residing underneath you. You can take the knees a little bit wider and then just allow yourself to soften all the way down onto the support of the bolster. So you can glide that in as much as feels supportive and take the knees as wide as feels comfortable. So if you want to take them wider, you can. And you might have the arms close to the body or even stretch them out ahead of you a little bit more. How's that feeling for you, Mum?
Yeah, that's all right.
Okay, so I'm going to come into that as well, and we'll just start to hold the posture. So in yin, we do longer holds. So you can have the knees closer, you can have different sort of props supporting you. You can even have the arms just resting in line with your body as the forehead grounds. And these longer holds require us to be physically but also mentally challenged, because it's the challenge to stay steady, to be unwavered by different sensations and thoughts that come and go, and choosing to stay still so we can access those deeper layers. So as you arrive in this space, just taking a full belly breath in, all the way up into your lungs, your chest, your heart space. And as you exhale completely, just watching that emptying sensation occurring in your body. Allowing yourself to feel completely supported by the support beneath you, and allowing yourself to really breathe into this moment, breathing in all the good energy, all the good sensations, and let go of any rigidity that you may be feeling, any heaviness, energetic debris, anything going on that's causing you stress. Just allowing those exhales to be very much a release today. Noticing the subtle sensations becoming stronger. You might be able to sense the blood flowing to different regions of the body we are working with today. Allowing everything to really relax in this space, specifically the muscles in your face, the neck, the jaw, the shoulders, even the belly. Allow everything which is not actively stretching to relax even further, to almost melt into the posture. And taking another deep breath in. And slowly just beginning to make our movement out back through to all fours. So pressing into the palms of your hands. Moving back up slowly, taking your time. Just gently moving any props or the bolster out of the way. Coming to lay down on your belly. So the belly is our space of rebound. So you might turn the cheek any way which feels comfortable for you. And just allowing yourself to soften, to relax into this space of rebound. So rebound is known as the space where the most healing occurs. It's the space where we are the most yin of all. It's said that the yin postures themselves bring up all of our physical, mental, emotional, energetic debris that's been residing in the body for far too long. And it digs all of that debris up to the surface. It brings it up to be felt, to be experienced. So sometimes the yin postures can feel very challenging and very confronting for such reasons and purposes. Sometimes you'll experience the emotions that meridian line is associated with, especially if you are blocked in that meridian line energetically. So you could feel those feelings of frustration or anger or resentment building up. The rebound is the healing space. It's the space where all of that debris gets flushed away and things flow freely. It's the space where we really are the most yin and we just get to relax and to enjoy the process. So we'll stay here for a few more deep breaths, just acknowledging, just witnessing and exploring whatever it is we feel in this space of contrast. Noticing the subtle sensations as well as the more gross sensations. You might sense that rising and falling of your chest, down to the steady inflow and outflow of breath around the nostrils, to even blood flowing to the regions of the body we've been working with and actively tensing and stretching. Or simply witnessing the sense of surrender that occurs with each exhalation. Taking one more deep breath. And slowly beginning to press our way now into all fours to prepare for our next posture. So carefully pressing our way up. The next posture that we're going to practice is called dragonfly pose. So to get into this one, we're going to actually come into a wide-legged fold. So you probably want to turn to the side of your mat. So you'll turn to face me or face the front one. And if you like, if you've got pillows or bolsters, you can elevate your hips by sitting up on one of your bolsters or one of your pillows. and you take the legs wide. So this time, this one specifically, if you're quite tight, you might need more props. That's completely normal to need lots of props, so don't feel phased if that's you. So to do that, it's just a matter of preference for different body types. So in Mum's case, it's looking like we're probably going to need to prop her knees up, so we'll just place some extra props underneath her knees, and making sure that you feel very supported, because it can change for everyone. Just because this is enough props for her doesn't mean that it's enough for you. So how's that feeling? Do you feel propped up enough?
Yep.
We don't want to have any sort of spaces where we get tingling sensations. So sometimes in these longer holds, if we're not fully supported, we get tingling in the joints or the muscles themselves, and they're getting overstretched, and the muscles start to switch on to counter and kind of keep us safe in the posture. It's not about that. It's about being able to relax as much as we can into it. So we really want to be supported. So I'm going to do this facing the side. Mum will be facing that way. So for others, you may not need as much props if you're more of a flexible person, but just see how you go. So from here, again, if you're quite tight, just start with your hands behind you. And with the hands behind you, you can kind of just hang out there and just start to feel the stretch that's surfacing in the backs of the hamstrings. So this one specifically works with our liver meridian. So liver meridian line runs up the inside of the leg. So it's very much targeting that line which deals with anger. The emotion of anger gets built up, stored in the body. From here, if you are quite flexible, the other way of coming into it is actually to use your props at the front. So you can come into a very yin style of it by placing your forehead onto blocks, or stack your bolsters up quite high, and then have your third eye center just between the two eyebrows and place that onto your props, because this is our liver point. So it actually targets our liver. So just like in acupuncture, how they work on different acupressure points, we can do the same with yin yoga. So that's one way, or you can come in the way that Mum's doing it. So as you find your positioning, take your time to readjust, take your time to feel supported in it, and then just begin to close your eyes down. So relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the face, relaxing even your belly. Allow everything to hang out here. And even notice what's going on at your feet. Try not to flex the feet and tense the muscles. Try to keep everything quite soft. So there's the least amount of force in this position. We're just surrendering to the pose, surrendering to the support which is beneath us, and allowing ourselves to have somewhat a meditative experience of just simply observing whatever is rising to be felt in these few minutes. And a good place to begin is with your breath. So just by taking a full belly breath all the way up into your lungs, your chest, your heart space. And slowly beginning to soften, to watch that grounding sensation, the sense of expansion in the body, the feeling of letting go. And continuing to either consciously work your breath, or begin by simply observing the breath's natural rhythms, where the breath starts to naturally feel inclined to go, whether it becomes a little bit more shallow or more expansive naturally. And taking a deep breath in. And a long breath out. Slowly starting to transition for our rebound. So in the rebound, it's that space of least resistance. It's a space where we remove all of our props. And the rebound for this one is on our back. So we're carefully going to move our props out of the way. Come to lay on our backs with your feet hip distance apart, your arms by the sides. And in yin, we call this pentacle pose. It's basically Shavasana, but because we're not finished the practice yet, we're just going to call it pentacle pose. So it's your rebound, it's your space of rest. You're closing the eyes down here and just relaxing. Take a deep, nourishing breath in. A long sigh out. And maybe even a few more deep breaths just like that. Deep breath in. A long sigh out. And noticing how those exhales just feel so nourishing, so grounding, and so expansive. It's a truly healing experience, a feeling of really letting go. Because we really are. We're through the process of the posture and the rebound, releasing that long-held tension that may have been sitting there stagnantly in our bodies for a very long period of time, sometimes even years. And this can be physical, emotional, mental, energetic debris. All kinds of tension can reside in the body. And as we breathe in this space of contrast, it's just a feeling of lightness starting to travel through your being. A very peaceful, harmonious, tranquil energy. And taking another deep breath in. And a long breath out. And slowly we're going to move into our next posture. The next one is happy baby pose, which babies tend to do very effortlessly all the time. So to come into this pose, we're going to begin on our backs. Just gently draw your knees into the chest to start with. Now you might just like to take a bit of a stir and a rock around there, massaging, stirring into the lower back. And maybe that's enough for you just to stay in this little egg shape, depending on your flexibility today. The next step is to take the hands underneath the knees, underneath the top side of your thighs, but where that knee line is. And that might be enough for you today. If you've got more flexibility and range than that, you then can send your legs up high, so the feet are a little bit wider. You're either catching the ankles, the big toes with index and pointer, or the inside arches of your feet, whatever feels most accessible for you. So in this one, the knees are bent And you can keep rocking and rolling about, which actually massages the lower back, but also it's very much targeting our liver line, that inner thigh area of the body. So of course it's stretching our hips and our groins, but it's also going to stimulate the energy flow in that meridian line of the liver. And the liver line is known as the king meridian line of the body. They say that if the liver line is out of whack, if it's out of balance, then all the meridian lines are probably out of balance. And if we can bring this one into energetic balance, everything comes slowly into alignment. So it's one of the most important ones to work with. And a good sign if you're unbalanced or you've got a blocked liver ki or liver chi, if your chi in your liver is blocked, that you'll often get angry and frustrated. You'll feel bitter and resentful. Those are the emotions associated with blocked liver chi. So that's what we're unlocking and unleashing today through these challenging, confronting stretches. So just closing down the eyes now, allow yourself to find a sense of steadiness in the in the happy baby stretch. And just observing the challenges that this pose may present for you. It is quite strong along that liver line. And just allowing yourself to breathe through it, to stay open, and to keep your awareness on both the breath and the sensations in your body. Relaxing the face and the muscles of your jaw. Relaxing the chest, the neck, and the shoulders. Keeping your belly soft as you continue to breathe with that expansive rhythm. Slowly allowing your legs to fall back down to the earth one by one, and we just let those legs go long now. So your arms are just going to rest by your sides, your feet are hip distance apart, and we've returned back into the space of rebound. So we just close our eyes, we relax our shoulders. We're taking a full belly breath in. And a long breath out. Simply observing whatever it is you can feel here, the subtle as well as those more strong sensations. The blood and the energy, the prana, your chi flowing to different areas of the body, doing healing work, cleansing, clearing, and purifying the entire field of your body. Cleansing any debris, any tension that's risen to be released. And as you continue to breathe here, with that exhalation, just thanking whatever that tension was and letting it pass on. Allowing every new inhalation to be very nourishing, very expansive. It's as if we're breathing in new energy, new prana, new life force or chi. Nourishing every cell of our being with this new energy. And every exhale, letting that old energy just pass on. So the practice of yin is very much an energetic practice. It works with these energy lines, the nadi channels, or otherwise known as meridian lines in the body. We are restoring our vital energy through this process. We are naturally healing and revitalizing the system, physically, emotionally, energetically, mentally. Cleansing, clearing, and purifying. And taking one more deep breath in. And a long sigh out. Letting any heaviness go with that breath. And slowly we're going to press our way up into a seated position for our next posture. And we'll make this one our final posture of the day. So for this one, it's called reclined butterfly. So to come into it, you're going to actually use your props. So I'll set Mum up with her props today. So you stay on your back as you were. And you're just going to actually lean your back onto the support of that, making sure that it feels comfortable enough around your sacrum. Sometimes people will feel that they want the bolster closer to their sacrum. Others will feel better with it further away. Now with this pose, it's actually a heart opener, so it's actually working with the heart and lung meridian lines as well. For this reason, it's one of the best restorative yin yoga postures that you can do, because it actually works with so many different meridian lines of the body. So when we're coming in, you can open your arms wide, and with the arms wide, you'll actually start to get the meridian line around the arms. But as you can see, Mum's quite high up, and we really want to make sure she's supported in this. So I'm just going to prop her up. So I might actually use the cushions. And maybe this as well. Just like that. How's that feeling? A bit better? Yeah. And then pop this one under here, so that her shoulders are nice and supported, because if you feel that your shoulders aren't supported in it with the arms wide, that's not very good for your shoulders. So if that does feel too much and you don't have things to prop your shoulders up, just otherwise keep your arms in close to the body. The only reason why we bring the arms wide is so that we can get this meridian line, so we can open up a different energy center. This one's associated with grief and letting go around our hearts. So at the moment, she's got her legs long, so we can actually work it into our liver and gallbladder by getting her to bring her feet together and her knees come wide. So she's coming into the full variation of the posture, which is butterfly pose. But she's quite tight in her hips, and if that's the case and it doesn't feel comfortable, you might need to prop up your hips as well, so propping up with more cushions and supports. How's that feeling? Supported enough? Underneath the knees or hips. But if it starts to feel like it's not supportive enough, You're welcome to just let your legs go long and just relax in just mostly the heart opener. So how's that feeling? Do you feel supported enough?
Very comfy.
Alright, cool. Otherwise, the way of doing this without supports, I'll show you. So you're just bringing the feet together, knees go wide, arms go wide. But you might still feel like you want some supports, because I even feel with my hips, I want to have those props underneath my knees. So now we've come into it, we're just going to close our eyes back down and just bring our awareness back to the breath. So watch for your belly expansion on the inhale. Watch as the breath moves from your belly all the way up into your lungs, your chest, your heart space. Watch for the expansion. Continuing to work this very nourishing, healing breath that we've been focusing on. That inhale is breathing in new energy into every cell. We're visualizing, bringing in new energy. And every exhalation is releasing the old. We're breathing away any debris that's rising to be felt, any stagnation, any emotional resentment that may be stored physically anywhere in the system. You don't need to even consciously understand what it is that you're releasing, but trust that it feels good to do so. And you'll start to feel lighter through this process of breathing and breathing out that heaviness and that rigidity and that long-held debris in the body that we're ready to release, so that we can welcome in all the new positive good energy, to welcome in new beginnings and new opportunities, and to just generally feel lighter, less stressed out, less frustrated, less bitter, less resentful, less of all of those things associated with blocked liver and gallbladder energy, or blocked chi in the liver. So allow your breaths to be as expansive as you need them to be here, or simply observing where your breath naturally feels inclined to soften to. And from here, we're going to take 3 more expansive breaths. And these ones are called cleansing breaths. So the way that these breaths work is we're going to take a full belly breath expansively all the way up into our lungs, watching for that sense of filling up. So it's like we're breathing in all the good stuff. But then with the exhale, we're actually going to take a long sigh out through the mouth. And with this expansive cleansing exhale, we're pushing out, we're releasing any heaviness, we're releasing any stagnation, we're just giving it a good flush out. So we're going to do that together. So taking our first deep breath in, inhale. Long sigh out the mouth. 2 more. Inhale. Long sigh out. And last deep breath in. And a long sigh out the mouth. And just slowly beginning to make our transition out of this movement now. So just you can start to send your legs long, or you might even like to just press your way up first to move any props out from beneath you. And we're going to just lay now comfortably on our backs for relaxation or shavasana. So Mama, you can use the bolster underneath your knees. You can glide that underneath. Just finding a comfortable position on your backs. If you do have props, you can use those props underneath your knees to support you. Taking a deep breath in, closing the eyes right down. And taking a long and expansive breath out, allowing any residue built up from the practice, anything that's come up or is going on, just observing it, acknowledging it, thanking it, and letting it pass on again. So I'm going to do my signature temple massage at the end for Mum. So I've got rose oil, which is a new oil I've just bought, and it smells so good. And rose oil is renowned to be a good heart-opening oil to help us to move into our heart space, which is the best sort of way to move out of anger and frustration, is to move our awareness back up into our heart. And if you're using oils for yourself at home, and you just apply pressure on that third eye center, or gently rub the oil into your third eye center, just between the 2 eyebrows, that's your liver point. So it stimulates even more energetic release around that liver point. And it's just very useful information to know when you're doing the liver healing sort of yoga practice. Do you want to add another way to stimulate that liver point? You've got some oils at home, or you just like to give yourself your own little liver point acupressure? And just beginning to bring our awareness back to the space around us now, back to our bodies and our breath. Beginning by making any movements which feel comfortable or natural for you. You may like to wriggle your fingertips or wriggle your toes. Perhaps stretching the arms long and above overhead. Taking a deep, nourishing and expansive breath in and a long breath out. Gently rolling over to one side, and take a moment to reground there, to bring yourself back. To feel the sensations in your body. And as you feel ready, just slowly make your way back through to a seated position. So if you've got that bolster, you might like to sit up on the bolster again. We're going to seal the practice together here in this seated position, bringing our hands to our heart space, and we'll take 3 deep breaths. So closing down the eyes. Deep breath in through the nose. And a long breath out through the nose. Deep breath in. Long breath out. Last deep breath in. And a long breath out. We're going to bring our prayer now to our third eye center, our liver point. And just gently bow together. We say, Namaste. Thanks for doing the practice along with me today. There'll be much more yoga practices to come. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, just comment them below. Thanks.
And
bye.
Thanks, Nish.
No fact.